What if I told you there is a book over 600 years old that no one has ever managed to read? A book packed with strange plants, unknown symbols, and writing so unusual that even the most skilled codebreakers in history have failed to decode it. This is the Voynich Manuscript, a puzzle that has drawn in experts, dreamers, and mystery hunters for centuries. It almost feels like something from a fantasy story. The thick parchment pages have survived the rise and fall of empires. Inside are intricate, colorful illustrations of plants no one recognizes from any botanical guide. Many of the leaves, flowers, and roots seem familiar at first glance, but there is always something off, such as petals that do not correspond to anything in the natural world, or roots that twist into shapes that seem impossible. Alongside the plants are circular charts filled with unfamiliar stars and geometric designs, as well as pages of human figures interacting with pools, tubes, and curious structures. All of this surrounds hundreds of lines of text, written in characters unlike any known alphabet, and yet arranged in a way that feels deliberate, as though it really is a language with structure and meaning. The manuscript takes its modern name from Wilfrid Voynich, a rare book dealer who purchased it in 1912 from a Jesuit college in Italy. But it is far older than that. Radiocarbon dating indicates the parchment was produced in the early 1500s, placing its creation sometime in the late Middle Ages or early Renaissance. Where it was kept before Voynich found it is still unclear. Some researchers speculate that it passed through the hands of wealthy collectors, alchemists, or secretive scholars, while others think it might have remained in a monastic library for centuries, hidden from public view. No clear ownership records survive to tell its story. The mystery begins with the writing itself. At first glance, the words appear to flow naturally. Certain terms repeat. There are sentence-like structures, and the spacing seems regular. Everything about it suggests someone was writing in a genuine language. Yet the script, often called Voynichese, is utterly unique. No one has ever found another document written in these symbols, and they do not match any recorded writing system from the medieval period. Even stranger, the entire manuscript appears to have been written by a single hand. The penmanship is consistent from the first page to the last, with no visible corrections or hesitations, giving the impression that the author was comfortable with this mysterious script. The illustrations only deepen the puzzle. The plants are drawn with care, colored in greens, browns, and reds, yet many feature combinations of stems, flowers, and roots that do not occur in nature. Some researchers have suggested they might be stylized depictions of real plants, or hybrids meant to disguise their true identity from uninitiated readers. Interspersed are elaborate astronomical and astrological diagrams. Some depict phases of the moon, or what appear to be star clusters, but they do not match normal constellations. There are diagrams of concentric circles, possibly representing cosmological ideas of the time. Then there are the sequences showing human, figures often women, standing or sitting in interconnected pools or channels of water. The meaning of these scenes is entirely speculative. They may depict medicinal baths, astrological rituals, or symbolic metaphors known only to the manuscript's creator. From the moment it surfaced in 1912, experts have tried to decipher the script. Voynich himself believed the book held important Renaissance-era knowledge, perhaps connected to alchemy or secret medical practices. In the 1920s and 30s, cryptographers, including some of the best in the United States, examined the text. During the Second World War, British and American codebreakers who worked on cracking enemy encryption also studied it, applying techniques similar to those used against wartime ciphers. None of them succeeded. Some proposed the manuscript was a natural language written in code. Others suspected it was a constructed language made to look real. A few argued that the manuscript might be an elaborate hoax, though the consistent letter patterns make that less likely. The arrival of new technology has brought fresh approaches. High-resolution digital scans were made available by Yale University's Voynich Rare Book and Manuscript Library, allowing researchers around the globe to zoom in on every page in incredible detail. This global accessibility has encouraged a wave of both academic study and amateur investigation. Multispectral imaging, which photographs the pages in many different wavelengths of light, has revealed details invisible to the naked eye. These include faded sketches under the ink drawings, erased characters, and marginal notes that were added long after the original writing. Some of those notes appear to be in Latin, possibly attempts by earlier readers to label certain plants or sections. Artificial intelligence has become one of the most intriguing tools in recent years. By training computer models on the structures of hundreds of known languages, specialists can now compare the Voynich text for similarities in letter frequency, word length, and repetition. What these AI models have found is that the text behaves statistically like a real language, following natural patterns in the way words repeat and vary. Some researchers believe this strongly suggests it encodes real information rather than being gibberish. Among the patterns identified is the possible use of alphagrams, where the letters of each word are rearranged in alphabetical order to disguise their meaning. This kind of encryption would have been extraordinarily difficult for contemporaries to break, and would explain why the text has resisted decryption for so long. A few AI-driven studies have cautiously suggested underlying links to heavily abbreviated forms of Latin or to languages like Hebrew, though these remain hypotheses rather than confirmed translations. So far, no one has produced a comprehensive, peer-reviewed decoding of the manuscript. Researchers stress that even if AI identifies the probable underlying language, understanding the full content will still require extensive human input to interpret historical, cultural, and scientific references. The lack of progress may be due to several factors. There is no companion material, no other writings in the same script to compare it to. If the language is extinct or entirely invented, there are no reference points. If multiple layers of encryption were used, they may require solving in a specific order. On top of that, medieval manuscripts often contained symbolic language, where herbs and planetary diagrams could have metaphorical meanings far removed from their literal appearance. Despite these obstacles, scholars often divide the content into broad thematic sections. The plant pages might be herbal entries for medical use. The astronomical charts could align health treatments with the positions of the stars, a common belief in medieval Europe. The pages with human figures could depict therapies, spiritual rites, or allegorical concepts. At the back of the volume, short paragraphs often marked with star-like symbols may be recipes or procedural notes. Each section hints at a coherent purpose, but without understanding the text, the connections remain educated speculation. Faded marginalia suggest that owners centuries ago also attempted to crack the mystery, just as we do now. Some appear to have written rough translations for plant names, or added notes in a different hand altogether, possibly as part of study circles or private scholarly efforts. These annotations are a small reminder that this puzzle has fascinated minds generation after generation. In terms of cultural impact, the Voynich Manuscript has inspired books, documentaries, artwork, and even video games. Amateur cryptographers around the world share ideas in online forums, testing theories from grammatical structure to botanical accuracy. It has become more than an academic mystery. It is a global intellectual challenge that invites participation from anyone curious enough to open the scans and look. Today, the manuscript rests securely in the Voynich Library at Yale, stored in controlled conditions to protect the delicate vellum. Few are allowed near the physical copy, but the digital archive ensures that anyone with an internet connection can explore its pages. Will the Voynich Manuscript ever be fully solved? Many experts think so, given enough time, data, and global cooperation. Others argue that parts of it may remain unknowable forever, because meanings can shift or disappear when cultural contexts fade. Even if we decode every word, we may face metaphors and symbolic references that made sense in 1400s Europe, but are now obscure. That said, every insight brings us closer. Whether the final answer reveals a medieval medical guide, an astrological compendium, or something entirely unexpected, the process of getting there is as exciting as the destination. For now, it stands as a remarkable example of human determination to preserve and share knowledge, even if the reasons for its secrecy remain mysterious. It links the ingenuity of the past with the tools of the present, challenging both technology and human intellect. Every attempt to read it is part of an unbroken chain of curiosity stretching across centuries. If you've enjoyed exploring this story, let me know what you think this mysterious book contains. Do you believe it hides practical knowledge that could still be useful today? Or is it an intellectual puzzle designed to intrigue? Share your theories in the comments, like this video, and subscribe for more journeys into history's greatest puzzles. The Voynich Manuscript may be waiting for us to meet it halfway, and you never know who might be the one to finally read its words.